Alright. What is up? What is up? YouTube boxing family, YouTube gaming family, and podcasting family. For anybody that is here to listen in on the podcast and episode. This will be used, I guess, as like another episode for the podcast. I think it's pretty much something that I wanted to do initially, but yeah, man, let's get right into it, man. Salute to anybody that comes through. This will be pretty much like a post-fight live gaming stream for anybody that just wants to hop in, just talk some boxing, and I guess anything else that's going on in the sports, the sports universe per se. But yeah, let's get right into it, man. Ryan Garcia, Mr. King Ryan Garcia, had a great ecstatic knockout victory in the sixth round against Javier Fortuna. Um, I would say that I was a bit, impressed because one, Ryan Garcia beat a former, world champion, but I'm not like super duper surprised in the, how should I say that the change of his skills being different. I think, honestly, to be fair to say, the problem with the problem with like a guy like Ryan Garcia is that he still has a lot of work to do, and I think the biggest takeaway from it is that Ryan Garcia he needs to improve with everything on a ring IQ basis, and I think a defensive mechanism where he knows where to be and how to like properly facilitate his shots a lot better. Um, I think Ryan Garcia, he's a good fighter. I don't take anything away from his successes. For for the wins that he has now. The only thing that I'll criticize is just that I just want to see him in there with all the best opposition because. People do say Ryan Garcia could be, one of the weakest links in boxing. I can very well agree with that. I think Ryan Garcia understands where his position is in the sport of boxing, but I think the problem that a lot of people don't give Ryan credit for is that whenever people do doubt him, he's actually getting really better from those fights where people say, "Oh, nah, man, he ain't that good," blah blah blah. He's a bum. In which, granted, he is a duck. I'm not I'm not gonna disregard, Ryan Garcia's, track record of ducking multiple fighters. But I just think based off of like what we're talking about in terms of Ryan's skill set, I think Ryan he could do some damage. I don't think Ryan is a complete world beater. I don't think he's like a demon king of some sort. I don't think Ryan has that full potential in his actual skill set to be a mega threat. I think Ryan he has a lot of work to do, but if he is guided by the right people, and I think on top of that, I don't know if Joe Goosen is actually really training him, seriously, but I would hope to think that Joe Goosen, he's actually being credible enough for his team where he's going in there and telling Ryan what he needs to do in order to get better. Granted, I could be wrong, and I could very well believe that Joe Goosen is not giving Ryan the proper management and the proper guidance to be a highly skilled fighter. But the thing is that Ryan Garcia, he kind of has like a good marketing scheme for what he's trying to do because people do say, "Oh no, Ryan's not that good," blah blah blah. He's not proving anything to any of us, and he needs to get out of boxing. Okay, cool. But the problem is that if Ryan Garcia is not this big, big draw in boxing, to which he isn't. He doesn't sell out any crowds. Like obviously Golden Boy has done a really bad job promoting him, and I would probably even say Ryan he's just not fighting the top level opposition names where people actually want to see him like people actually want to see him rise up to the occasion to be successful. And I think like the biggest problem with Ryan's skill set is just that he's just not he's not showing enough to the boxing world, especially like hardcore boxing fans, that he wants to be hungry and he wants to be successful. Um, I could very well be wrong. I think Ryan, he could very well shock a whole lot of people where he could very well upset some heavy loaded favorited fighters. Granted, Ryan, he says that he's fighting at 140, not at 140 or not at not at 135 now. Um, I think as far as the next selection level of opponents, I would like to see Ryan in there with like a guy like, shit, I don't know, because like 140 is like obviously mega loaded, but just based off of like what I'd like to see from Ryan Garcia, I think a fight with maybe like, shit, I don't even know, man, because like 140 has so many sharks, and it's like, if I put out like one name out there and you guys would say, "Oh, really? Like you really think Ryan can, like, can beat a guy like this?" Nah, man, like you tripping, man. Well, here's my top 5 like opponents for Mr. Ryan Garcia if he so chooses to dominate, 140. I think the very first opponent, if you want to give him some top shelf smoke, I think he should go after a guy like Kenneth Sims Jr. I think that's a great fight. I think Kenneth Sims Jr. He's a good ass fighter. The problem with Kenneth Sims is just that he has great movement and he has great ring IQ, but I kind of question his chin, because I do believe, like, Kenneth Sims Jr. He's been rocked a couple times, like, in previous fights, and I mean, like, granted, from like the Montana Love days, he had like a good outing in that fight, but still, Kenneth Sims Jr. He is very weary with his punch resistance. I'm not too sure how he would hyperscale with like a guy like Ryan Garcia. I think if he keeps his left hand up more in that fight and he doesn't hyper exert Ryan Garcia's power, to which he actually takes his time, like he does with most of his like opponents. I think Kenneth Sims, he could very well give Ryan his very first loss. I think Kenneth Sims, that's a very good shit. That's a very good stylistic matchup. I think Kenneth Sims, his fighting style is very suitable for Ryan Garcia, because if Ryan Garcia does hurt Kenneth, which I very well could see that happen in that fight, because Kenneth, he's very vulnerable to the body, in which yo, people really have to like actually start respecting Ryan Garcia's body shots, because he does have like one of the best left hook to the body shots in all of boxing, honestly. I just think based off of like what we want to see, like obviously most of us want to see Ryan versus Tank, to which I think Gervonta Tank Davis, I want to see that fight next. I personally want to see Gervonta knock out Ryan Garcia, but if he very well upsets Gervonta Davis, then I'm gonna be super duper shocked, because it's like Gervonta Davis, he's such a dangerous draw to anybody he fights, but it's like knowing that Gervonta, he is moving funny, and we don't even know what Gervonta is going to be doing by the end of the year, because he said that he's going to see us next time, I think he's coming back to the ring by December, to which I don't understand why Gervonta takes so much time off, because it's like, Gervonta, you have literally only a good 2 to 3 years left in your prime, and then it's like once he hits his 30s, it's like I just feel like Gervonta, he's just not going to be any better, because it's like you're gonna be 28 in I think December, if I'm not mistaken, but still, it's just like Gervonta, he has so much, how should I say? He has a lot of, like, climbing that he needs to do with his opponents. And I think the biggest problem for Gervonta Tank Davis is that if he fights a guy like Ryan Garcia instead of Devin Haney, in which, granted, don't get it twisted, Devin, he could very well be busy with George Kambosos, but then on top of that, if Tank really wants that fight, he should really start pushing for that fight to be next and stop making up all these weird excuses to say, oh, well, Devin Haney, man, you know, he's with Top Rank and I'm still going to be with Floyd Mayweather Promotions, in which I don't think we have like an actual confirmation if Gervonta is staying with Mayweather Promotions. But if he is, I think that's just a bad look on Gervonta. I think Gervonta, he's obviously milking out the benefits of Floyd Mayweather promoting him, so therefore he doesn't have to be responsible of his promotional company gains. I think Gervonta, you know, he's a very very skilled fighter, but the problem is just that, you know, the lack of high level competition is like heavily needed for Gervonta Davis's career to actually do some damage. Um, I don't know about what Ryan Garcia should be doing next, because if he doesn't fight Gervonta next, I think the best next opponent that he should fight would be a guy like, well, I guess knowing that he's going to be fighting at 140 now, I wouldn't mind a fight between him and Montana Love. I think him and Montana Love, that's a very very good ass fight. I think based off of what the style that Montana Love has, that could easily give Ryan Garcia a crap load of problems. And I think that's something that Ryan Garcia should very well exercise to try to see what a fight out of Montana Love could give him. But I don't know how that fight will personally play out, because I think Montana Love, he has the ability to stop Ryan Garcia, but the problem with him is just that he's very very chinny. Obviously, he just got dropped in his last fight, if I'm not mistaken, by I think that Mexican dude. I forgot what his name is, but basically, he didn't look that good. He just looked like, you know, like your typical average, like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna be taking over, you know, boxing, and you know, like I'm gonna be conquering divisions, blah blah blah. Nah, bro, nah. Oh no, no, no. But still, that's a great fight for Ryan Garcia. See, now, here's the problem with Montana Love. If Montana Love clips Ryan Garcia, and let's just say if Montana Love and Ryan hit each other at the same time and they both get knocked out, then I don't count that to be like an actual loss, because both of y'all, if both of y'all lose by getting knocked out together, then that's going to be considered a knockout draw. I'm just saying, because there was no clear winner, but then again, you didn't get back up, so I think like a good fight of that magnitude would definitely be good for the fans. That would be great for the sport. That would definitely get 140 talking a lot more next to the welterweight division. I think that's a very very good fight. Obviously, the third opponent would be Teofimo Lopez. Ryan Garcia said that he wanted to fight Teofimo, and I think that's something that Teofimo could probably entertain, because he's not a champion, but yet he claims to say, "Oh yeah, man, well, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be undisputed back to back." It's like Teofimo, he's such a mental retard. Like, it's not even funny, man. Like, Teofimo Lopez is like literally the he's like the epitome of man, who's that one character from the Boondocks? I forgot, like, you know, what the guy's name, but basically, if you guys know who I'm talking about, um, he's like one of the neighbor friends that Uncle Ruckus, or basically like Riley and who was the other guy's name? Riley and he's that other kid with the big ass afro. If you like, shit, I forgot what his name is. Riley and who's the other guy? Wait, I could easily Google this. Boondocks. characters. Um, Hold on. Yeah, there was Riley, there was Uncle Ruckus, there was Tom Dubois, Charlie Murphy, and then and that's Tom Dubois' daughter. Okay, okay, I get that now. Yeah, because I actually didn't know that was actually his daughter, Sarah Dubois. That's Tom Dubois' wife. But who's the other guy? Oh yeah. Robert Jedediah. Yeah. That guy, granddad. But basically, he was like I don't know. Teofimo probably reminds me of the Ed Winkler, the third, in that I guess like the gangster movie where like Huey and Riley they got into like some weird gangster exchange and this white guy was with him and I guess like they got caught up into some weird mix of shootings, but yeah, that's basically what Teofimo is. He's basically like one of those weird characters in boxing, where like that what he's saying is bullshit, but at the end of the day, it's like Teofimo. He has so much ego in his mindset where he thinks everybody knows who he is, and it's like, dude, no one cares about who you are. Like, the only reason why you're relevant is because you tied your name to Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson because that is basically your bread and butter fights where you will probably never end up facing either one of them. I don't even see Teofimo fighting Shakur Stevenson in the future. I think him and Teofimo, they're probably I don't know. I think Teofimo's gonna be like a weight class like above Shakur Stevenson, but just knowing how the state of Teofimo's matchmaking will be on Top Rank, I just don't see Teofimo properly being successful in trying to get a Shakur Stevenson fight because he's going to make up excuses like he's gonna make up more excuses of why that fight can't be made, and I just think based off of how I see that going down, uh, I don't know, man. I just don't see Teofimo fighting Shakur. Maybe Gervonta Tank Davis. I could very well see that happening. I think that's a that's a very good fight that Teofimo will probably have more confidence for, but Devin Haney, I don't think so. Maybe, possibly, because Devin and Teofimo, they're both on Top Rank, and who knows? I think that fight is very winnable for Teofimo because if he hurts Devin Haney and he clips him very hard to the point where he can knock him out and finish him, he could do that. But I don't think he's gonna hit Devin, and I don't think Devin's going to allow that to happen because he's so good defensively as a fighter. Um, as far as everything else goes, um, I don't know where Ryan would try to get that fight in with Tio, because knowing that he's with Golden Boy and Golden Boy doesn't really do good with Top Rank, they do very good with matchroom fights, but maybe that fight could very well happen because Bob Arum, being Bob Arum, he will feed Teofimo to the lions of of the 140-pound division. So I think for Tio's benefit, Top Rank will very well push for a Ryan Garcia fight, and I think I think that's a good third opponent option for Ryan Garcia. Um, in regards to I guess like the fourth and fifth opponent, this is like a little bit tricky, but I don't know if this is a good fight to have, but maybe try to get a fight in with Ivan Baranchik. I don't know if Ivan Baranchik is still boxing, knowing that he did take really bad damage in two back-to-back fights with Jose Zapata and obviously Montana Love. So I don't, I don't know. I think Ivan Baranchik, he's probably out of the picture, but I don't think that's a bad fight, theoretically speaking, but realistically speaking, let's substitute Ivan Baranchyk for Arnold Barbosa. I think Barbosa versus Ryan Garcia, that's a very very good 50-50 matchup. Um, well, actually no, I'll probably say 55-45 because Barbosa has shown that he gets rocked really really easily to the point where he can get knocked out. So I think Ryan Garcia, all he needs to do is just time his left hook onto Barbosa, and then when Barbosa gets clipped, then Ryan's gonna tag him to the body, and he's gonna put like a really big beating on him. But see now the thing with him and Danielito Zaria, in which I talked about that in the previous live stream. Um, I think the problem between him and Danielito is that both guys were having, their moments of making it a very good, fun, competitive fight. But the problem with Barbosa was that he made the fight a lot harder than for what it should have been, and I think Danielito had made the fight a lot harder than for what he should have done in the fight by itself too. See now, if Barbosa got hit more with Danielito's right hooks or right overhand punches, along with a stabbing jab to the body, then I think Danielito could have very well stopped Arnold Barbosa because in the 10th round, Danielito he was picking up the pace and tempo, and he was hurting Barbosa very very bad. To which he could have easily knocked him out. So I think like the great thing like about Barbosa's weaknesses is that when you catch him enough, where he's very very defensively irresponsible to get hit and possibly get dropped or get knocked out. Like I think a Ryan Garcia type of fight would be very very unpredictable because Barbosa he now shows that he's very vulnerable to big heavy loaded power shots, and I think that Ryan Garcia would definitely gain some minor success in being successful in actually beating him. But then again, Barbosa, he's a very good bona fide pure boxer, and he could very well easily defeat Ryan Garcia with just basic footwork movements, where Ryan Garcia could very well be outclassed, to that manner. Um, I think just as far as what we want to see from Ryan Garcia, if he can actually handle guys that actually know how to box, that would be like the biggest challenge for him. And I think that's why Ryan Garcia he's having such a difficult time with guys that are pure boxer movers or if anything pure boxer punchers. Obviously Luke Campbell was at the closest thing to a pure boxer, but Luke Campbell he wasn't really that good of a bona fide boxer. He always kept his head right in front of you. He was always like a hittable target, and he was never really getting up there to the level of skill set to actually give somebody like a really tough fight. Um, I'm just not too sure how that fight will play out between like a guy like Barbosa and Ryan Garcia. I think Barbosa should get a decision, or I probably say possibly like a split decision, because if Ryan Garcia makes those rounds very very controversial, he could very well stop him. Um, he could either stop him or he could win by split decision. I'm just not too sure how that fight would play out, in my honest opinion. But I think that's a very, very good stylistic matchup because Barbosa he likes to trade on the inside with Ryan, but on top of that, he also knows how to move his head when he's inside the pocket. But if Ryan catches him with something, unexpected, he could very well stop him. See now, with Ryan Garcia's, lack of footwork and I would say the lack of ring IQ, that's where Barbosa will defeat him. Like single handedly easily. But if he gets caught with them body shots early game and then late game, I could very well see Ryan Garcia stopping him because Barbosa, even though that Danielito Zaria, he wasn't like landing those body shots, as much as he should have been. But when he was landing them onto Barbosa, he was shelling up quick. Like seriously, he was like Barbosa looked like he was about to fade in that fight. But then again, Ryan Garcia, he's very, very good with that signature left hook, um, the left hook to the body, or left hook uppercut, or left hook shots in general. And I think that's very, very smart for Ryan Garcia's defense to be that dangerous late game in a situation, because if anything, Ryan Garcia only has to be perfect for 1 second. Like honestly, he only has to be perfect for 1 second. And I'm not trying to dick ride for Ryan Garcia. I still think Ryan Garcia, he's a duck. He he needs plenty of work to do. But still, if you just take into the account of all the fights that Ryan Garcia has been in, the only good challenging fight that Ryan Garcia has really been in was the Luke Campbell fight. But still, he was still learning on the job, through that fight. But still, if Ryan Garcia had fought a guy like Jorge Linares, or any other high-level veteran like Vasil Lomachenko, or anybody in the lightweight division, then I think Ryan Garcia would still give his best shot, where he could have been easily, one of those fighters where he could very well upset, the major apple cart, in which he can. That's what makes Ryan Garcia very, very interesting in the lightweight division or the 140-pound division. But knowing that Ryan is going to be staying at 140, there's plenty of great fights that Ryan Garcia is going to be offered now. And I think he's going to be making a crap load of money doing it. See, now, I don't think Ryan Garcia is going to have the actual confidence to really make these fights. But if he actually does, then you have to give Ryan Garcia his credibility. I think Ryan, he just has. I think it's more to do with his weird emotional antics that he says towards certain fighters, just to build his name off of them. So I think it's just like the stupid dramatic antics that he likes to play. But if he's really serious, don't be surprised if Ryan actually makes some noise. I think he can. I think Ryan, he's a very good, heavily skilled fighter. But the problem still lies is just that Ryan Garcia, he has so many problems to fix on his offensive and defensive fundamentals, where he could actually do some damage. See, now, I'm just not too keen on what him and Joe Goosen are doing together. But if Joe Goosen is actually putting in the work with Ryan to actually make those proper adjustments, then I think that's something that could very well play into that factor of Ryan Garcia being successful. See, now, I just don't know. I just think that when you look at how Ryan Garcia is, coming into the sport, people will say that Ryan Garcia is just not ready for the professional, level, because he still fights very amateurish. He still fights very, very limited, and he just has something to that level of which he doesn't put himself in proper position to make adjustments on the fly and actually want to win the fight. I just think based off of what we're seeing, we we hardcore boxing fans, we just need to see Ryan in all the difficult fights. I think Ryan, he can possibly win. It's just that he just needs to start being more persistent and actually wanting these fights. I think as far as the fifth and final opponent that Ryan Garcia should try to go for, this might be a little bit wild for me to say, but it's a very, very good stylistic matchup if you guys want to see it. I think he should go up against Mr. Elvis Rodriguez. See, now, for those of you that don't know who Elvis Rodriguez is, He's that Dominican kid fighter that fights on the PBC. And look, I know that some people are probably gonna be like, "Oh man, nah, man, you know, like you crazy, man. If you think Elvis Rodriguez, like would get stopped by Ryan Garcia." But it's like, that's a good ass fight, because you want to know why? Elvis Rodriguez, he likes to mix it up with Ryan Garcia. He's a very, very deadly southpaw, if I'm not mistaken. I think he is a southpaw, but either way, he's so good with that inside body work pressure. And I think if Ryan Garcia, if he could beat like a guy like Elvis Rodriguez, yo, that speaks a lot of volume. That really does. But obviously, people would probably will say that Ryan would get brutally stopped by Mr. Elvis Rodriguez. But I don't know, man. I think that's a good stylistic matchup. I think Ryan Garcia versus Elvis Rodriguez on the PBC, that is literally one of the best fights to have at 140. If we're talking about, high level ranking fights to put contenders, on the map, I think that's a good ass fight. See, now, I also wouldn't mind a fight between him and who's that other guy? He's so good too, but I don't want to try to go after some super duper killers, but oh man, I'm trying to think of him. He's so good at 140, man. But I'm obviously not gonna say Brian Norman Jr. Hell no, Brian Norman Jr. would, he would beat the brakes out of Ryan Garcia. But who is that other guy that I'm thinking of? I'm just trying to figure out who's that other guy that I'm thinking of that fights at 140. He's so fucking good. But hold on, give me like 1 second, guys. And sorry that I couldn't get that victory for you guys, because Battlefield 4 lobbies are hyper sweat. But let's see. He's really, really good. But man, I'm trying to get the name off the top of my head. What is it? Ah, shit, man. Ah, man. Hold on. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Alright. Hold on. Oh, yeah. I got it. I was gonna say either Brandon Lee or Richardson Hitchens or Andy Hirioka. If he could beat either of those three guys, then Ryan Garcia, he's going to put himself up there in position to be like a top killer. And check this out. This is crazy. BoxRec literally listed Ryan Garcia as a number 7 top 10 140 pounder. What? Oh my god! They have Ryan Garcia as number 7 on BoxRec. What? Somebody explain this shit to me. What? Oh my god, I'm not even lying. How is Ryan number 7? Oh my god, man. That is so stupid. How is Ryan number 7? How? Get the fuck out of here, man. Wow. Yo, that is insane. Jesus, man, that is wild. Oh, man, but yeah, surprisingly, Ryan Garcia on BoxRec is literally listed as a top, he's literally listed as a top 10 super lightweight. He's literally listed as a top 10 junior welterweight. That's really sad, bro. Oh my god. Yo, bro, that is so stupid. Boxrec, what are y'all doing, man? Who the hell is working at Boxrec, making up these weird ass fucking lists? Oh my god, that was very sad. But yeah, I think Ryan Garcia, he has a lot of great like a great list of opponents that he could run through a gauntlet for. But I think like the best opponent to fight next, minus Gervonta Tank Davis, because I don't think that fight will be next unless it is, then I'll be happy. But I think he should very well fight Kenneth Sims Jr. or Montana Love. Obviously, Montana Love is a very difficult fight. I think based off of what we're seeing um, from Montana Love's development, I don't think Montana Love will be surviving much in the 140-pound gauntlet of opponents that are getting their names out there. I just think based off of what I'm seeing, I just think Montana Love versus Ryan Garcia, that's a very, very good fight. Because Ryan Garcia, believe it or not, he actually looks like a middleweight, as he's actually fighting. And I think based off of what he's doing in 140, as he fights, better, time and time. I think Ryan, he's gonna start progressing to be, like a good, bona fide, like, inside brawler puncher. I think what the good thing about Ryan's style is that he definitely knows how to mix it up very well on the inside, but the biggest weakness is his footwork, and I say the ring IQ, man, because the ring IQ definitely has like no, common decency with what he does to actually, make improvements in the ring. But I think with Joe Goossen's help, if Ryan is committed to the sport, which that's his biggest problem, because he's just like, using all this social media following and all this nonsensical bullshit to like really make, his career be viewed as like a joke. I think Ryan, he has great skills. He definitely knows what he has to do to be successful. But I think based off of what I'm seeing from the progression of Ryan Garcia, I think it's just fair to say that Ryan, he has a lot of work to do with what he needs to do in order to become a world champion. And I think Ryan, he will become a major player in the mix of all the biggest names that we could think of at 140. But if he's not, then Ryan Garcia is very well going to get knocked out probably multiple times in his career. And, he could very well just quit boxing very early at a very, very young age. I think Ryan Garcia should very well try to, exercise, a good medium, hardened level fight. And then if he graduates from those like three out of five, or like obviously if he graduates from like those B plus tier to like A minus borderline S minus tier competition level fights, then Ryan Garcia, he's gonna be with the real deal. He could very well do stuff like that, man. And I think Ryan Garcia, he can do it. He has some decent skills, but he just needs to start being serious at this point, because he's only like what 23 years old, and he's been in like the pros for like a good, I think like 4 years if I'm not mistaken. Uh, yeah, he actually came into the pros at like if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, when did Ryan Garcia go pro? I know it was like 2017 or 2018. Actually, yeah, he started at 2016. So, yeah, Ryan Garcia started at 2016. So that was a good, what, 2016, blah, blah, blah. Uh, 2016 to 2020. Yeah, that was 6 years ago. So, yeah, he came into the sport at like 19 years old. Yeah, or actually no, 18. 18. Yeah, he came into the sport at, well, actually no, he came in at 17. Yeah, he came in at 17. Yeah, same time frame as Devin Haney did, because Devin Haney came in at 17. So yeah, Ryan Garcia, he's doing everything correctly. It's just, like we need to see Ryan Garcia, develop in a skill set, and I think eventually, people will start to see, the actual progression of Ryan Garcia's skills. I just don't know how he's going to be developing. I think Ryan Garcia, he has plenty of deficiencies that he obviously needs to fix up on. Um, the biggest problem is obviously the defense. I think his chin is heavily wide open in certain exchanges where he could very well get stopped. And I think like the greatest example of him doing that was him getting dropped by Luke Campbell for the first time of his career. Um, I think that's a big no-no to do that with a guy like Javante or Teofimo Lopez of that manner, especially from heavy-handed boxer punchers. But I don't know. I think Ryan's it factor is his devastating left hook, and I don't like to use it in a sense with Deontay Wilder, but it's like Ryan Garcia only has to be perfect for 1 second when he hits you because he has great tremendous deadly power, but it's just that he obviously doesn't know how to facilitate his power to the highest standard of which he could actually know how to box with his power. Because if he actually had great boxing skills, then Ryan Garcia would be like a very, very good fighter. The problem is just that he doesn't facilitate his boxing skills enough where Ryan Garcia, he actually needs to know how to box. So I don't know. I think it's very controversial at this point. I think Ryan, he has a great idea for what his style should be, but the problem still remains is that you're coming into the sport to box. You don't come into the sport to get knockouts. Otherwise, boxing would never be boxing. It would just be called knockouts. You know, but I think Ryan has some skill. He just needs to work on his confidence of just being himself in the ring. But on top of that, just stop making up these weird excuses of you not wanting to take a fight with whoever. I think Ryan Garcia's biggest mistake obviously was him not wanting to get the opportunity and to fight Devin Haney when he was his mandatory. I think Ryan Garcia should have easily fought Devin Haney. Uh, that would have been a very, very good fight. And I think Devin Haney, he definitely would have been in a very difficult fight. In which I'm not going to say Devin would get stopped. I think Devin would box Ryan's ears off and he would make Ryan very frustrated to the point where Ryan, he can't land that signature left hook. But on top of that, if Devin can't be dog walked by Ryan's power, then I think Ryan would be in very deep trouble. Where Devin would, like Devin could have a very good chance of just out pressuring him and out dogging him. So I don't know. I think Ryan and Devin, that's a good fight that needs to happen at 140 when Devin Haney makes his decision to go up to 140. Um, See now, I think as far as like where Ryan's gonna probably end up coming back to the ring, if he's coming back the same month that Tank Davis is, and let's just say him and Tank are fighting, then I think December time, that's a very, very good time frame to get ready. If him and Tank are going to actually get it going, and that fight could very well be next. I would actually want to mind that fight. I think that's a tremendous fight. It's just that Javante Davis, he's like not going to make up any excuses for why the fight can't be made. I think this is like the final opportunity that Ryan Garcia has to make this fight, or else, he's going to be looked at real funny. in boxing, public talks in general. But that's why Ryan, he said he wanted to have the negotiations be public, which I find that really weird. I don't think Ryan really needs to be doing that. I think Ryan, he really needs to start putting himself, in proper positional standing to actually have that fight, prioritized between him and Tank. So I think if Ryan wants to have that fight made, he should say "f you" to Oscar and stop letting, you know, Oscar block the fight, because, even though Oscar said in the past that Ryan Garcia is not ready for Tank, and knowing the fact that he'll use any excuse to say why Ryan shouldn't be fighting Tank, he should be fighting some Soblo whoever fighter at 140. It's like, nah, dude. I don't like. I'm sick and tired of seeing Ryan beat up on guys that we know he was going to knock out and actually beat them. Um, I just think, based off of the fact of the matter, is just that Ryan, he's just too, how should I say, he's too gifted in his skill set to be beating up on guys that we obviously knew he could beat up on. I just think, based off of how Ryan has been, conducting his behavior outside of the boxing world, it's just that he's just not putting himself in a proper position where, he actually wants to get these fights going. And I think Ryan, he has a great chance of making these fights happen. It's just that you really need to stop letting Oscar De La Hoya control your career, and you have a very, very good mindset of actually wanting to be in there with them. To which, that's like, that's hypocritical of its own sentiment, because Ryan, he has been very, very, how should I say, belligerent in saying, like, oh yeah, man, I wanna fight Gervonta, blah blah blah, but yet, he turns like a blind eye and says, oh well, I'm gonna be fighting Manny Pacquiao, instead of him fighting, Gervonta Davis or blah blah blah, whoever. So I, like, I'm not gonna hide away from that. I think Ryan, he needs to really stop putting himself in a um, bad position, and he just needs to start being, more mature in the boxing world, where you have to take ownership of your career. That's why people say boxing is, the closest thing to, everyday life, or boxing is very similar to everyday, you know, people life, you know? And I think that's where Ryan Garcia knows where, he needs to start being a little bit more responsible with what he says, and he needs to start being more, mature in how he approaches himself, through certain, boxing social circles. And I think Ryan, he has a great mindset. I don't, I don't personally hate Ryan Garcia. I think Ryan Garcia, he's a little bit goofy, but it's like, I don't hate him, man. I don't think Ryan's a bad person. I'm pretty sure he's a very nice individual, and I'm pretty sure I would naturally get along with him, because, knowing that he is very funny on YouTube and other social media platforms, um, I can dig that. I think Ryan has a very, very good mindset outside of boxing, and that's something where Ryan Garcia will be heavily remembered for. Not only for being like a social media clown, but still, just based off of him having like a good marketing mindset of him, bringing people, to the sport more, especially from a casual's point of view, despite him not really selling out in his fights himself, but still, he's still doing his part of actually making the fights in, funny fashion, I guess. So I don't know. I think Ryan, he has a little bit more work to do, and I think, eventually things will be fixed up. Um, I don't know what else to really say. I mean, obviously, we got Joet Gonzalez versus Isaac Dogbe. That black dude that beat Christopher Pitufo Diaz in which I thought that shit was like a robbery. I didn't think Dog Bay won that fight, but surprisingly, those guys are going to be fighting for the WBO interim belt, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, I think the winner of that fight will fight Emmanuel Navarrete, which I'm definitely not looking forward for that fight. I think Navarrete would just end up beating them and just destroying them. So I don't think top rank understands that Navarrete. He just he probably like at this point Navarrete should either unify or he should just move up, because I don't want to see Navarrete really be fighting I guess his own leftovers again. I think Navarrete versus Shakur Stevenson should have been the next fight lined up through Top Rank. But knowing how Navarrete, he's moving funny and he's trying to campaign and back at 126, or he's going to keep defending his belt at 126. It's like I don't like that shit. I want to see Emmanuel Navarrete fight. Whoa. I don't mind seeing him fight Ray Vargas. I think that's a good fight because Navarrete, he could shit. he could very well beat Ray Vargas. The way he punches, the way he's awkward. That's a very winnable fight for both guys. But if he could get a fight in with him, I wouldn't mind that. Josh Warrington, he still has the IBF belt, if I'm not mistaken. So go after him, beat his ass. That'll be a fun fight to watch. And then for the WBA, if I'm not mistaken, Leo Santa Cruz, he will be that big ticket of the big money fight, especially on the PBC. So I think Navarrete, he should very well exercise going after how should I say he should very well go after you know I guess anybody or any of those champions and try to unify for undisputed. I think that's a very good good setup to have, and I think Navarrete, he could very well become undisputed. He has a good style. I just want to see him in there with high level competition, and I think he has a very very good how should I say he has a good mantra with what he's doing. But I think Top Rank should not be moving him weird. I think Top Rank really needs to start putting Navarrete in those in those big fights. And yeah, I think eventually Navarrete he'll start making noise. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess what I will do is that I'll cut the stream off and then I'll come right back, to streaming again, and then I will just continue the stream by just playing music. So all right, thank you guys for watching this episode for the podcast, and yeah, y'all can find me over here on my YouTube at KRAT7435 or my Instagram at Kieran Rodriguez 6, and obviously with the podcasting channel for anybody new coming in. So yeah, man, I appreciate it. You guys will definitely see me once again, and more content coming out on the way. So thank you guys. Peace out and salute to the mighty LDBC and the TWT, and